Yes. How we doing? Who juicing? All right, I got my coffee here. Previously on Kimba TV. What did we say yesterday? If you lose 45, full rotation. Oh my God. Is 35K still on the table? Abso-fucking-lutely. Yep. We just gotta take it level by level. You lose that range. So let me put it this way. You lose this range. Oh, snap, dizzle for shizzle. If you lose this range, then yeah, you're coming back down to this range. There's nothing here. So losing that would immediately teleport you back to here. And you're gonna be fucking around here. How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Dude, the CME order book went down for a little bit. Y'all notice that? Got an email saying, please don't place any new orders. I said, what? Is this Binance or CME? And what does this look like? Okay, nice. Nice. Where's .BTC look like? Okay. Okay, that's cool. Nothing's really changed too much. Space Cash, what's going on? Ricky Rampage, Skinny Pimp, T.A. Me Daddy. Well, you already know what it is. When it hits that 7.5, what will we expect? So maybe we're going to see a tap and go. Just a continuation of yesterday. Mache KPI says, what is your plan for ETH BTC? The same that it has been for the last couple of weeks. Yeah. So Mache, make sure you get caught up. Long story short, I'm going to be looking for that level. But we identified this level. Let me take the magnet off. And this level. These are daily candles, Mache. So if I tell you the plan hasn't changed for about the last 4 or 5 weeks, then you got to go back and get caught up. That's why you really don't want to miss out on highlights, because it's hard to kind of get you caught up if you've been missing out for the last couple weeks. But if you've been following the last couple weeks, my plan really hasn't changed for, what would you say, gang, like 4 or 5 weeks? Yeah, so this is obviously daily candles. I mean, we've been watching this for, I don't know how long. Since September of 2022. This started 2 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, we have the sweep level identified, and we're just patiently waiting. But all the levels are getting hit. It's not really so much more about like, oh, he's waiting for that. It's the why and the kind of like the how, I guess. But yeah, so ETH BTC, I'm waiting for that. Once we get that sweep, I will start thinking about maybe getting into like an ETH long. Same with .BTC. Okay, no real surprise that it's pixel fucking right on that level. I'm hoping it breaches, right? So hasn't really changed too much. VWAP holding on CME. We just did the Boogammas, and so you would, think by end of day the price is going to get pulled towards 47.40. We'll see if that happens. Better Swing says, what 7.5 are you referring to? The 7.5 from yesterday. So remember how we were like, oh, the single print lines up perfectly at the 7.5? So make sure you get caught up. Make sure you get caught up, Better Swing. Marion, what's going on? Azaz says, bear divs printed on RSI CVD and money flow with this move up. Tapped single print previous resistance and 0.75. Yes, great observation. What's going on? Crappy Jelly Tough Gnome. I want to long if it bounced on the golden Poquito 0.5. Yeah, you found TPO point of control as support. You probably wouldn't want to go lower than that single print. You wouldn't want this. You could still have it, but you would start to get a little bit concerned that you spent all that time trying to find support and then you're going to lose it again. So it would be like one step forward, two steps back to get that level. So the easiest way for bulls would be to just get that, right? Tap and go. But let's see. Some people were thinking about shorting here, so shout outs to you if you did. I'm trying to debate what I should do with this long. But shout outs to everybody that was asking me about TPing at these levels yesterday. So if you're caught up, I mean, it's really just watching it. There really isn't like any new TA to report back. So, right. We'll see if 47.20 can get turned into support, and then you'd be expecting 47.40. That's about it. Yannick says, I took a short stab there. PD value area high, 4 hour candle close below. Retail area, arena value area high, FG. Yeah, it's not bad. Just the cool thing is, Yannick, we already talked about the risk reward for trying to short there yesterday, because people were already asking yesterday, hey, what about shorting here? Some people were asking, hey, would you TP your long there? I think it was Alpeasy. So yeah, we kind of already talked about that single print, all that shit. You know what I mean? So you got like the hidden bear div that you wanted. You know what I mean? Everything that we talked about as a setup is all there. The one thing that's kind of fucking you is S&P probably, if you took a short. So as long as you're aware of the risk profile, you know, you can probably put your stop loss at like break even or something, I would assume. So, yeah. But pretty cool that you guys we were already talking about shorting here or TPing here, and here we are. So, and really, I mean, there isn't really much to add from the nerd out from yesterday. Mars Biker says 1 hour bearish RSI. Yes. So like, let's just recap. What were the two things that I said for me to take a short? What I would want. I would want open interest going down, and I would love some sort of hidden CVD bear div, right? Unfortunately, that doesn't look that bearish for me. Okay, it would have been an obvious short for me, or I would have closed most of the long had that gone down. Right? So we already talked about all this shit. You got some of the elements that you wanted. A bunch of you guys listed off why you took a short. Nothing wrong with that. I'm rooting for you. Let's get it. But that open interest isn't helping you, and S&P isn't going to be helping you. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see. I'm rooting for you if you took the short, though. Let's get nasty with it. Hello, can you explain to me what are poor lows and highs? Basically, it's like an incomplete price action. So, the first thing that you want to do, Wood Starling, is being able to identify a poor low or a poor high. The second thing that you would want to do is to be able to understand the difference between a poor, a weak, and a bad low high. All right. Once you do that, the rest is seeing it many, 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 many times. So it basically means that the price is going to revisit. It's inconclusive to know if that really is the top or bottom, Wood Starling. It didn't spend enough time. There wasn't enough of a reaction. So it's inconclusive to really truly determine if that really is going to be the low or if it really is going to be the high. Sometimes you'll hear me use the words like unfinished. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do, Wood Starling, is being able to spot these things. The second thing would be to identify the difference between a poor high, a weak high, and a bad high. And then after you can identify it, it's about seeing it and getting exposure to it hundreds, if not thousands of times. And you're going to start to see, oh shit, the price usually goes back to revisit and finish the business there. Alrighty, that's probably the best way that I could explain it. But it's going to click when you see it hundreds and hundreds of times with Starling. Okay, it's one thing for me to be like, yo, Kimba box is here. Okay, but it's a whole nother ball game for you to see it go down there and bounce thousands and thousands of times. Okay, so the only thing that you really have to worry about, in my opinion, is can you at least identify a poor low, a bad low, a weak low? And then, the exposure is going to basically take care of itself on how they react and how often and how quickly it gets revisited, brother. Sounds good? Sir Dude Man, what's going on? Miko says, Kimba, do you think the ETF will stabilize the wild wicks of BTC, will make it move more like S&P? Yes and no. You're probably going to see less wicks and less like extravagant volatility when there's more money involved, right? When there's more liquidity that comes into play, it becomes more stabilized, right? So yes, it's just semantics. Like what would you consider stabilization, right? If your interpretation of stabilization is it's not going to have $4,000, $5,000 moves, well, I don't know about that. You're still going to see big ass moves, in my opinion. But would they become less frequent? Would the correlation to traditional markets become even stronger? Yes. But the good news is, brother, is we're going to see that sort of evolution together as regulatory compliance gets instated and more institutional money flows. I'm sure we're going to be like, holy shit, this year, like for example, 2025, let's say that the ETF is good to go in 2025 or whatever, right? The whole year in 2025, we might start to be like, wow, there's less and less like crazy scam wicks. And then in 2026, we might be like, wow, there's even less crazier wicks than 2025, And then in 2027, we might be talking about, remember when we all these wicks used? So I'm sure that we'll see it gradually as more money comes in, brother. Evox, Miko, Mr. Market Maker. Pau Lopez says, are you in a trade? Yes. Make sure you rewind and get caught up. We got filled yesterday live in a long. And like if you go back and pay attention to the stream, people are asking me, where are you going to TP? So that's the conversation that I really want you to listen to, Pau Lopez. First off, I thought Pau means dick. Baby girl is like, I want Pau. But anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked. So it's weird when I say Pau Lopez, but yeah, so it's not about if I'm in a trade or not, Lopez, okay? It's about why I entered, and people were asking me, hey man, are you going to TP here? Are you going to TP here? What about here? Some people were asking, are you going to short here? Are you going to short here? What about here? We spent hours discussing that. So that's the part I want you to get caught up on, okay? Fuck if I'm in a trade or not. I want you to understand why we took a long attempt and why I haven't TP'd anything, what my hesitations were about shorting here or TPing here. All right, literally 3, 4, 5 hours of all of that yesterday. So that's the part that I want you to understand and get caught up. All right, Lopez. No, Pau is Spanish name. Okay, okay. Like Pau Gasol. I got you. I got you. It just throws me off sometimes. Um, did that answer your question, brother? You know, if you don't know if I'm in a position or not, you also don't know why. And you also don't, you miss the whole discussion about the TPs and stuff like that. So if you have the chance to, I would want you to get caught up. Um, the part that you would want to rewind to from yesterday's stream, if you want like the organic, like the full stream is always available. So I start talking about, all right, let's identify levels of interest. Okay, and I talk about hidden bull div possibly forming. Talking about, you know, if we are gonna dip and I want to take a long, I want to see open interest decreasing, and that happened. That's also the reason why I was and still hesitant about shorting this area. So if you can, Lopez, I would love if you can try to get caught up on that. But yes, I'm in a little bit of it's tiny, bro. So, but we got in at the TPO value area low yesterday because that was really the last sort of reserve before we started to get down here. New type says, yeah, I was here yesterday. I'm just mentally getting ready for my short. Gets filled near TPs during Macaulay hour. Okay, I got you. New type, this is what I would say. And I said the same motherfucking thing yesterday, and I've been saying the same motherfucking thing for the last couple months. So you know what I'm about to say. There's two main variables that would make me want to close long or maybe even entertain a short at the same time. Would be the open interest decreasing and like a hidden bear div as we approach levels of interest. If any one of those things is not there, then for me, there isn't enough of an edge, and I would prefer to just stay in the long. Roger that, new type. But make sure that you are going to anticipate the data that's going to give you the go-ahead to take a shot. Okay, and just because I'm looking at those two things does not mean at all that those are the two things that you need to be looking at. All right, so just do your best, anticipate the data. If it's there, take a shot. And you know me, like I don't really care about your entry. I want to know where your stop loss is. So that I think is a little bit more difficult. New type, you know what I mean? You could see, because you understand why, like you could get a sweep of that, but even if you did sweep, and we talked about this when we were talking about the failed auction and this, okay? You could still sweep, but what if the fucker does this? Do you remember what we said? If 45K is turned into support, what's the full rotation if 45K gets turned into support? So don't forget about all the things that we talked about because we already talked about that sweep when we were saying it could either be a failed auction or you could get a sweep. Even if that sweep works, you need to make sure the fucker doesn't turn this into support because it's going to go real quick. Roger that. Another thing that you can do is what does that look like, a good high or no? Right? Because if it is going to be a good high and you have a chance to lose that, it's going to do something like this. Okay? Or think. Take the third impulse. All right? Just a couple of hints based off of what we've seen before that would indicate that it's a good high. But if it does a swing fail and that's a bad or a poor high, you got to really be careful for that. Roger that. That's why for me, as somebody in a long, TP1, TP2, by the way, I said TP1, but have I TP'd anything? No, okay? But I'm just saying TP1, TP2, TP3, and I would have a little bit still running in case it wants to go. Destack says, do you really need all those programs? It's up to you. Some people might think that it's a lot. Some people will think that it's very, very few. Yeah, I think it depends on if it's important for you to be able to know the data, right? So if you want to know exactly what position opened where, then you probably want to be able to look at footprints, right? If you want to know how many dollars worth of positions are opening where, you probably want something that can tell you open interest delta, right? When you see that 500 million USDT got transferred to an exchange, you might want to know if it went to spot or derivatives. You need crypto quant for that, right? You need on-chain analysis. If you want to know if there's 1,000 Bitcoin at this price, or you want to know, oh shit, there's somebody shorting 642 Bitcoin at 47.8, well, you need Bookmap or Trading Light. It depends on how much you want to know for sure. And instead of guessing, I just like to know and double check. Some people will be like, holy shit, there's a lot of shorts getting trapped. Word? I don't see that. Or some people might be like, oh my God, there was 500 million that went into this exchange. It's bullish. Word? How do you know that? If it went to spot, it would be bullish. But what if it went to derivatives and then you see a bearish CVD building and you're clearly seeing them use that 500 million to short? So it just depends on how much of how much you want to know for sure. There's no right or wrong. Do you need to factor in all those things to be able to juice? Not necessarily. But for me, yeah, somebody that obsesses over data, I need to know for sure myself. And so anything that can help me know for sure, I want to use it. I hope that answers your question. Paul says, can you look about the Big Daddy fib? In my opinion, it's taking support on gold and Poquito and could bounce the 7.5 single print grab. Yeah, it could. Like, you want me to do this? Like that? Yes, we talked about it yesterday. There's no right or wrong. You could be watching it like this, or you could be watching it like this. There's no really right or wrong. But, whatever fib you have, okay, whatever fib you have, brother, I'm not gonna, I already have the levels identified, whether it's this single print or this single print or that sweep. I already have my levels identified. The Fibonacci confluence is nice, but you know how I feel about these levels. So whether it's confluencing with a single print or not, whether it's a fib level or not, I already have the levels marked, and I know what I would want from this standpoint and from a hidden bear standpoint if I am going to take a short before that sweep. Woka says, can you check out Litecoin? Sure. This is LTCBTC, okay? And I think for the Bitcoin pair, you would still have a move back down, okay? Let's take a look at the actual price. Well, this still has more room to go. Yeah, so you would probably, expect a little bit more of a move up, but you should start to identify levels. I don't know what the TPO levels are, Woka. So make sure Addis is free. Make sure you're looking at TPO levels, okay? You see this big-ass gap? That would kind of really turn me off to like trying to short any of these levels. But again, I don't know where the single prints are, and I certainly don't know where the TPO ranges are. So pull some fibs, right? Try to identify where the volume peaks are, and just do your best. Bugatti, ladies and gentlemen. Everything Gucci? All right, 22 minutes on market close. Again, I mean, none of this shit surprises me one bit. You know what would surprise me? Losing that. Right? You know what would surprise me? Like, in a good way? This. Or this. Right? Bugatti is the Bugatti, ladies and gentlemen. You loving this shit or what? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. Bugach. All my signals has thought we won't get blessed with the Vala today. But let's not get carried away. This is not like crazy Vala. So I think we're still okay. We just need to trust the math. Alrighty. You guys good? Yeah, I mean it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy. Bookmap just froze. Oh my god. Everybody good? Bookmap just froze. What just happened? Y'all see it? 5.3 million in shorts just got squeezed. 5 million shorts just got squeezed. Single print filled, that's a negative. Single print did not get filled. Scapper says, and still OI going up. You know what that means? You think I'm shorting this? Ladies and gentlemen, I hope it's slowly starting to make sense. And again, we're not in the business of trying to predict the future. All I care about is, can we read the shit that's in front of us correctly? That's all it is. And then based off of that, we make our best decision, best guess. All right, I got about 18 minutes before I gotta leave. Let's keep it on here. I'm gonna delete this useless fib. Okay, because I just want to clean it up a little bit. Binance took all the single prints. That's a negative. Refresh your Addis. What's the single print on Binance? First off, you can see that there's still a single print there. Okay? On Addis, what's the single print? 44895. Did Binance go to 44895? It did not. Single print is untapped. Look on Addis. The blue line is still there. Longers. Let's go. I'm rooting for you. Shorters. Let's go. I'm rooting for you. I honestly don't care what your position is. We're all looking at the same shit. Have good risk management. Be disciplined. Have good patience. And take a shot if you see it. All right? Bulls, bears, we're all lions. You guys are the fucking best. You know that, right? You guys are the fucking best, man. I can't wait to see you guys again tomorrow. The math is the math. Make sure you guys get caught up and rewind. All right? Sato, tell them what happens if they don't use stop loss.
Woo!